My name is Jen, and I'm going to be co-facilitating today with Priti, and we just would first like to welcome everybody for joining the Obesity Matters Wellness Workshop series today. We are so fortunate to be able to welcome Chef Henry to join us today, and so he's going to be giving us some of his time to talk about food and to talk about some nutrition and recipes and cooking. And we're so fortunate to have him, and he joined on very short notice. So we're going to be managing some videos on YouTube. And so again, we just appreciate your patience with it, but I think that we're in for a great session today. And so without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Chef Henry to give us a little bit of background on where you've come from, what brought you to Obesity Matters, and what's in store for today. So thanks again for joining us, Chef Henry, and I'll hand it over to you.
All right, awesome. Hey guys, so I'm Chef Healthy Henry. All my social media and my website is Chef Healthy Henry or chefhealthyhenry.com. My background is basically I went to culinary school like 20 years ago in Chicago. I moved to San Diego since then. I was a bigger person. I was like 400 pounds, and 5 years ago I actually had bariatric surgery. I lost 140 pounds, which helped me create Chef Healthy Henry business so I can create these healthy recipes for people to take charge of their, not their just lives, but their lifestyles, what they're eating, what they're cooking, and understanding what their food is all about. I feel like it's important. I feel like it's important for people to, get their families involved, their kids involved. It's obviously about their future too. And so there's a lot there that we're gonna go over as far as, in the next hour about purpose and everything else. And the reason I'm here is because I told them that I'm gonna share everything. So I know how hard it is. And so for me to be able to create my business and create these healthy habits and get you guys in the kitchen and cooking whatever is a purpose that I have deep inside me to get out there and to tell everybody that let's start getting in the kitchen, figuring out what we're eating and why we're eating it, and how we're eating it, and when we're eating it, so we can all basically take charge of our own lives and hopefully bring that down to our kids. It works. I know it's hard. People say I don't have time. I have kids. I have jobs, whatever kind of thing. But I made it work. I can try to help you guys make it work too, because it's important for our kids to grow up healthy, and that's the biggest thing for me. A lot of what I do, a lot of my recipes are high protein, high fiber, and I do add extra fiber into my recipes. I have it in powder form. It's tasteless, it's odorless, and it mixes really, really well. So fiber is one of those underrated, nutrients that we really need. That's going to help regulate our blood sugar and everything else. So I try to add a lot, as much fiber as I can, the protein, so a lot of that stuff. But also at the same time, I like to be very adventurous with my cooking, introduce new things to people so they're not intimidated or they're educated on something like cactus where nobody really knows anything about it, but it's so good for you that I add those to my recipes. So it's not just like chicken, and cottage cheese. There's all kinds of different things. So I just wanted to start out with that. This Mediterranean bowl is loaded with roasted eggplant, juicy tomatoes, creamy lentils, crunchy cucumbers, olives, and a zesty sun-dried tomato vinaigrette, all built to fuel your body and satisfy your taste buds. It's colorful, it's protein-packed, and perfect for lunch, dinner, or anytime you need a reset. Let me show you how to bring this bowl to life. This is your dressing. These are, lentils. I roasted the eggplant, and everything is fresh and, really seasonal kind of stuff. And so I feel like this one shows well. It's one of those addicting kind of salads because it's got a lot of flavor to it. As you can see, a lot of this one, I didn't add a lot of fiber to it because the natural ingredients are already high fiber and high protein. So this one's just a natural, easy recipe to start off with. It's got a lot of flavor to it. I like to do salads with a lot of greens and lettuces and stuff like that, but I also do different types of salads that you don't have to depend on lettuce all the time kind of thing. So this is a big take from an Italian kind of salad. Last couple of years I've been in Italy, so I've been doing a lot of Italian inspired stuff too. So I really like this one. It's fun, it's easy, and kind of just roast your eggplant and everything else just comes together. Dressing itself is the sun-dried tomatoes, a little bit of olive oil, and some red wine vinegar. Red wine vinegar has a lot of good flavor to it, and it's really non-existent as far as calories go. Some lemon zest, a little Dijon, and some garlic and basil. I like to use honey. If I'm using my sweetener, I'm either using allulose as my substitute, or I'll use honey, natural honey. I try to stay away from stuff like maple syrups and stuff like that. But that's basically it. Besides olive oil, it's salt and pepper. It's a very easy, simple one to put together. And that recipe is, like again, on my website, 13 grams of protein and about 10 grams of fiber per serving. So yeah, the second one, so this one was a salmon. It's like a lime salmon, but we have got pomegranate on there because it's we're summertime, we're fresh and whatever. And then again, we got bulgur for our fiber and for our complex carbs, and for our a little bit of protein. This one's a good like lunchtime thing if you're like having lunch with friends or whatever kind of thing. Sit outside, sear a piece of salmon, throw everything together. Just some ginger in there, some garlic, and a little bit of avocado. So you get some good fats in there too. This one has lime. So adding a lot of those natural vegetables. Yeah, this is just lime zest going on the salmon, patting it down, and then we're just going to, basically like create the vegetables, kind of saute them up with the bulgur, and then we're gonna throw a salmon right in there once we, like I said, we're gonna put the salmon right in there. And it's just gonna sit there for a while. I've had comments of people saying, like, I would never do that to salmon, but it's so good. And then, so you take that out, and then everything else is basically done. It's a one-pot meal. It's super easy. Those are the pomegranates going in, and then once you start to, when it's ready, you just basically like put it on your dish and you're ready to go. We're talking 14 grams of fiber and 25 grams of protein in this one. Yeah, and so you can see the pomegranate in the bulgur there, and then put the salmon right on top, and it's like, this is another one. It shows well with friends, like a nice lunch, outside lunch with your friends, whatever kind of deal.
I was curious because you said that you have over 200 recipes on your website. So I was wondering, is there like a ritual, or do you come up with recipes in the same way? Like, do you have your ideas in the shower or something like that? So what's your thought process when you're building up a recipe so that it gets all the nutrients that you want in it and feels also very interesting and delicious?
That's actually a good question, because I get that a lot. Where do you get your recipes? So it's a variety of different ways. Some days I'll go to the grocery store and I'll see like some jicama there, and I'll build a recipe around jicama, and I'll just like go around the store and just start putting stuff in and start creating stuff. Some days, I do have people in other groups, whatever, they will send me recipes. They're like grandmother's, like, Hungarian chicken marsala kind of stuff. They'll send that to me. They'll say, can you make this healthier so I can eat it? Because I really miss eating it, but it's not so healthy. So I will redo those recipes. I would create a video. I put it out there. I will send it to them and give them send them a nice note. I do get requests. So like Monday through Friday, it's my videos, my healthy food for you guys. And then because I do this all day and I get everything cleaned up, by the time she comes home, everything's done, but it's cold. So she's like, it's great, but it's still cold. I have to warm it up. So on the weekends is her time. So we do food that she can eat fresh. And then if I really like it, I'll redo it during the week. But with that said, she'll send me recipes that she likes, and she'll say, take this and make it your own. And so I will take that and change out some of the stuff. If there's something that's not as high nutrient dense kind of stuff, I'll add, kind of interchange those things. I'll add new stuff to it. So it's just a lot of, or sometimes it's like, I feel like I haven't done tofu in a while, or I feel like I haven't done this in a while. So I'm just going to create something of that kind of thing. So it's just a lot of that kind of thing. And so sometimes it's just like something just pops in my mind. I like the process because it helps me be creative. Before I had my business, I didn't have the confidence. Even though I went to culinary school 20 years ago, I didn't have the confidence that what I cooked was going to make people happy and taste good. And so after a while, after I started building more confidence in myself, then that reflected in the confidence and the love in the food. So creating these things is so important to me.
I've got a question for you. I'm curious, what are some of the changes that you've incorporated into recipes to make them healthier? What are some of the changes that you've introduced that have been most surprising? Like, wow, I didn't think I could turn this recipe into something that was more nourishing or healthy.
Yeah. There are a lot of times where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna think outside the box, put something together, and if it works, great, and if it doesn't, then we figure out why and we make adjustments. And that's all what cooking really is. It's not about the recipe. The recipe is not a Bible. It's a guide that you can take it and make it your own. If you don't like, pomegranates, put something else in there, another vegetable in there, And if you don't like salmon, put some halibut in there. It's a guide kind of thing. So it's always a work in progress. I get my fiber from Just Better Fiber. It's like I said, it's odorless, it's tasteless, so it goes in basically anything. And so putting those things in and adding those extra nutrients was when at the beginning I was like, well, we'll see. I'll test this out and see how it goes. And then, but it does work out. A lot of other things like, cactus has to be like, boiled before, you do it. And so you're learning that process too. Heavy cream. So we're gonna get the heavy cream substitute. And a lot of times it's that, low fat yogurt or non-fat yogurt, or it's going to be like a Mexican cream kind of thing. It's going to be something different that's going to give you the same kind of texture and flavor, but it's going to reduce those calories.
From the chat here, from Diana, she said, due to personal circumstances, I can't shop daily per meal. I buy groceries once per week, but I also try to avoid having food that can trigger me to eat more. Yeah. What are some good pantry staples to have on hand?
Okay, so that does get tough, especially if you have family or kids, because they're, your family. If you don't have a good support family, it's very hard. The thing is that when I lost my weight, my family was there to support me, but I've talked to hundreds of people who say that my family does, they don't care. They're going to eat what they want, and it makes it hard for me. And I understand that. It is triggering, and I understand that. But a lot of something like high protein, high fiber stuff, like obviously nuts and seeds, things like that. Obviously, you want to stay away from like the chips and things like that. But I do feel that there are, and it depends on if you're actually like snacking with stuff, or if you're cooking with stuff, because like if you have like cannellini beans, or like you have like black rice in your pantry, things like that. Those are high fiber, high nutrient, high protein things that you could just be like, okay, I'm just gonna, instead of making white rice, I'm gonna make black rice, and it's so much better for you, and it has a lot of good flavor and texture to it. So those kind of things. And then as far as snacks go, it's hard because I know that not everybody's gonna snack on seeds all the time. It just depends on I guess what you're looking for as far as snack goes, because there are I don't know. I mean, there's certain things if you want to do like the baked kettle chips, stuff like that, but those are still not the best for you either. So anything that's natural, I would stay away from I would lean more towards like the berries, the fresh berries in your fridge. Kind of stay toward, if you're snacking, stay towards the fridge and not the pantry. Is what I always tell people. Stay towards, because in the fridge you're going to have fresh stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to have, even if you have like dried fruits do have a lot of sugar in them. So they'll have more sugar than the fresh ones. And, but they're good if you're putting, I don't do a lot of baking, but when I do baking, I will put some dried fruits in there just because it's part of the recipe. But then I'll also add the allulose in there for my sugar. I'll add the fiber that's going to offset all those extra sugars. And then I'll add some tasteless protein in there. So I'll add stuff in there to offset the extra sugar that's in there. This is filling, a purpose inside myself to be here for you guys and everybody else.
Thank you again, Chef Henry, for wonderful videos, recipes, tips, and tricks. And we'll make sure that we share your website and all your social links and the information about today's recipes that were shared out with the audience as well, so that they can explore a little bit more and get more familiar with all the work that you've done. So thank you so much. Yeah, for
sure. And if anybody has, like I said, if anybody has questions about certain things or how to do things or need something changed or whatever, contact me. I'm always available.